Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Munir Al-Azouzi from easymedicaldevice.com, and today we will do the June 2023 update. Let's look at that. But before to start, let's first present you our sponsor, which is medboard.com. Medboard is a platform that is helping you for your regulatory intelligence. So let's see who is exactly Medboard.
Medboard, the regulatory research and intelligence platform, is focused on solving the problem with increasing news and data and new requirements, as regulatory intelligence, post-market surveillance, clinical literature review, and many more. We are making trusted medtech information and data more accessible, creating the largest information portal search and the best tools for review, intelligence, and portfolio management. We are already changing people's lives like you by reducing tedious manual and repetitive work or saving much time. Contact us at medboard.com to learn more about us and do a free trial.
Okay, first topic of today is notified bodies. So we have just the situation of the notified body for Europe, for EU MDR and EU IVDR. There are no new notified bodies that were happening. So actually we have 38 for MDR and 10 for IVDR. And when you look at the picture, actually there are still 8 that are in the CAPA review for EU MDR and 3 for IVDR. There are more in the process, but in the final phase for the CAPA, which is the final phase before they can really go through the next phase, mainly to be on the Nando database. There are around 8 for MDR and 3 for IVDR. So we look forward for them. Actually, as I've said, we have 38 and 10, which is a number that is really lower than what we had under MDD. Under MDD we had around 60, so 50 something or 60. So if we can first reach this number, can be really great, and then if we can have more later, will be also really awesome for the medical device manufacturer. But here is the actual picture. If you were asking yourself, what's the situation now? Okay, in March we had the update of the EU MDR and IVDR for the extension, but now they are consolidating the text. So for EU MDR and IVDR, so go on the show notes to get the new links that you maybe will bookmark within your browser for the new MDR and IVDR, which are telling you mainly what are the changes. So you can see here there is the M3 change for MDR, which is mainly for the extension. So all the new dates that were mentioned there are now disclosed on the text. So what is important is that you are now reviewing all your strategies due to these extensions. Next week we'll have a podcast episode talking specifically about about the extension, the consequences. We have seen a lot of drops in the requests from manufacturers on the program for EU MDR and IVDR. And we think it's because of this extension. We had a lot of people that were asking us. So mainly, we'll talk about that next week with Florian Tolkmit from ProLiance. So don't hesitate, just to listen to our discussion. Okay, now that we have the extension, there is also something that is really important. It's about the confirmation that you are eligible for this extension. Normally, as soon as you are following the requirements and that you are on the companies that are eligible for that, there is no real issue. But the Commission has issued what we call a confirmation letter template to be signed by your notified bodies to say that yes, you are really eligible for that. It's not, for me, it's not mandatory, it's not really required by the law. But you'll see later, we have some countries that are asking these letters. And this can be a bit difficult. We also talk about that with Florian Tolkmit next week. This can be somehow difficult because we have some cases of manufacturers that were under a previous notified body, now that are under a new notified body, then the, if I can say, validity of the MDD certificate under the previous one, signature of the agreement with the new one. So then it's also like a bit complex. So yeah, this is mainly something that you can request a confirmation letter, and here is the template that is provided. And Team NB also has been participating to the review and also published that on their website. The consequences of this extension also has impacted the MDCG guidance 2020-3 for significant changes. So you have this new revision that was published now, where we have mainly the changes. But this revision was also great to align also some of the text, because there was a lot of text that was not really well written. So I think, you can look at now this new version of the 2020-3 revision. It's really an important one, because if your product is going through a significant change, you have to inform the authorities. But if you are a legacy device, you have then to move immediately to the EU MDR or IVDR. And we have discussed about that with Martin Witte from TÜV Süd on our podcast. So this is something that you have really to consider. So this guidance is really important for you. I really advise you to include this within your change control process. Each time you do a change, mention if this check if there is a significant change within your process. And for Europe, there is the same process for US, for Australia, for Brazil, for all the other countries. So and they don't have the same rules in terms of significant changes. So you have really to include that within your change control process. Another consequence of the extension is an update of the Annex 16 timelines. There is a proposal for this update. Actually, there is no change. This is the same timeline as before, but there is a proposal now that is issued, and you have until mid of June, if I remember. I can't remember the date now, to provide your advice, or to check if everything is fine for your side. But when you look now at the timelines, they are beyond the one for EU MDR and IVDR. So if you go through the one from 2027 or 2028 timeline, then maybe your new timeline is 2029. So it's something that is really going beyond what is done now with the EU MDR. So check this if you are within the Annex 16 products, because really this make some changes to your timelines. It's better for you, but it's also good to have that in mind when you will be applying to a notified body, because you still need to benefit for this extension. You still need to have a contract with a notified body. Another consequence for this extension is that multiple countries are now talking about this extension, and also they are advising how you can get confirmation letter from the competent authority. Spain is in this case, and they are asking, telling you that mainly if you have signed a contract with the CNCPS, that you can request from them a letter regarding this extension of the EU MDR, so that you can also show that to a third-party country. So they recognize that mainly there can be some issues, because a third-party country is asking you for confirmation that yes, you are part of this extension, and then you have no proof. So then they are understanding that, and they are telling that if you have an agreement with the CNCPS, you can then request this letter directly from them. Okay, now in Italy, we have a new launch of a new project, which is the EMDN maintenance project launched. So mainly, you remember that before under MDD, we were more looking at the nomenclature called GMDN. Now under MDR, they are saying that this nomenclature should be free of charge, and there was no agreement with GMDN. So now they created the EMDN that is issued from the CND, which is an Italian nomenclature. Now there is a question about a few years now after the use of the EMDN codes and EMDN nomenclatures. Now there is a question about how we can maintain these EMDN codes. And then there is this group with the EU Commission, the Italian also Ministry of Health, that launched a project to do that. So the project is called, the group is called CMEMDN. Yeah, I can't remember what was the mention of that, but the meaning of that. But mainly this group objective is mainly to have a periodic update of the EMDN. Also, if there is any need of information or clarification related to the nomenclature, if there is to make also some tool available for the use of the EMDN, like this platform, the website that we have here, and to support the Commission in collaboration with the World Health Organization, the WHO, so in case there are some questions or some needs. So this is really this objective of this group that will be in charge of that. So if you have maybe an issue with the EMDN code, so then maybe you will have to discuss with this group that will be checking and helping you and supporting you for that. Okay, Finland is reminding us that medical devices are medical devices, but there are other legislation that may apply to medical devices, and one of them is the RoHS, which is the Restriction of Hazardous Substances Act. Mainly this is a project or a legislation that is helping, limiting the use of certain metals, plasticizers, fire retardants on electric and electronic devices. So means also that even if you are following the EMDR, you have also to look at those legislation. The EMDR is also including some requirements in terms of CMR, so carcinogen, mutagen, or substances that are toxic for reproduction. So these should be linked. So it means that if you have an electronic or electrical medical device, you should also make a gap assessment through the RoHS to verify if you are complying to that. So good that the Finnish authority is reminding that to us. You can go to the show note to see the information on how they are looking at that. Okay, a new training session will be issued for EMDR, which is the Green Belt certification program. So we had that nearly every month. So this new session will be from June 26th until June 30th. So during this session, we'll look at everything about EMDR. So each step for understanding this process, each step on understanding this legislation, with also all the new updates. So don't hesitate to come to check anything that, if you have any concern or any question, you can also during this training ask a lot of questions. During day one, we'll go through the general overview with the timelines. Day two, we'll go through the economic operators. Day three, we'll go through the clinical classification, qualification, conformity assessment, notified bodies. Day 4, we'll go through technical file, quality management system, clinical evaluation. Day 5, we'll go through UDAMED, UDI, etc., etc. So, and day 6, you can start to do your exam. You have 1 week then to finalize your exam. And if you pass the exam, then you get your Green Belt certification program, Green Belt certificate, which is showing that you have really passed the exam with 80% of success. So don't hesitate to go to the show notes to check the program, and then also to enroll before June 26th. Now in Switzerland, we have a lot of guidances, 3 guidances that were issued about incident reporting. The first guidance was about the economic operators, when they should report, how they should report, what is really their role and duty about incident related to the products. The second one was about users also, like doctors, professionals, users that are using devices, using some devices. So the objective is mainly for them to directly report to Swissmedic or use somebody from the hospital, which is called the vigilance contact person. And the third guidance is about this vigilance contact person. So how to designate this vigilance contact person, who can be your vigilance contact person, and what is their role. So this is the third guidance that was also issued by Swissmedic. So don't hesitate to look at those guidances. Update also your procedures. Check if you are complying to them. And if you are an hospital also, and you need also some training on the medical device regulation in Switzerland for learning more about this kind of thing, you can also contact Easy Medical Device, and we can also come and make a training for the hospitals on that. So if you need some people that have a clear understanding of what is happening within the medical device field, also how to report an incident, what kind of documentation are needed, so don't hesitate, we can also make a training for the hospitals. Okay, United Kingdom now, they are issuing also a lot of guidances. The first one is an update to the the web page how to register medical devices in the UK. This update was mainly to include video tutorials about how to use their platform for the registration of medical devices. So don't hesitate to go there. There are a lot of videos on how to do that. If you are outside of the UK and then you want to register your device in the UK, you need a UK responsible person, so Easy Medical Device can help you for that, because only the UK responsible person will have access to the platform to register your device, register your importers, etc., etc. So don't hesitate also to go through your UK responsible person if you have any question about registration within the UK MHRA. So UK is issuing a new, is planning to issue a new regulatory pathway, which is the regulatory pathway for innovative medical technologies. We talked about that some time ago. So this is something that is really planned and is really interesting to go through. This is only a project, as we said for now, but if this is really happening, it means that some innovative products can maybe have a fast track to go to the market. The same as what happens with the US, with the breakthrough procedure also that they have. It would have been great that also the EU is thinking with the EU MDR to have this kind of innovative pathway. Anything that is innovative should go through that route and then can benefit from maybe being on the market as an innovative product, but it's not existing for the moment in Europe. So it means that if you are a company that is really an innovative company, you have to go through the same way as any other devices. No additional support will be provided to you. But if you go to the US, for example, you have the breakthrough procedure, and I hope maybe if you go to the UK, there will be this IDAP, which is Innovative Devices Access Pathway process that will be available. So let's look at that when it will happen then. So the UK MHRA is also issuing an assistive technology process or guidance, which is talking more about some products like wheelchairs or other devices like a can that you are using to move, if I can say. So the point here is also to guide you in terms of qualifying your product as a medical device or not. There are some wheelchairs that are medical devices because they are really assisting people to move from A to B because they cannot without that. But there are also some, as mentioned on this guidance, some wheelchairs that are just used in hospitals for moving patients for comfort, not really because they cannot move by themselves, and which is then not considered as medical devices. The line is really thin between both because mainly at the end, the one that is used just for comfort can also be used for normal patient, for disabled patient. There are a lot of examples like also cushion that are used in hospitals or cushion that are used for wheelchair. So if you are in this assistive technology devices, I think this guidance is really useful for you to understand how you can qualify or not qualify your product as a medical device, and what are really the process that you should go through, because mainly those products are normally class 1 devices, so they don't need a notified body, but maybe some of them need a notified body. So you have really to make a gap assessment for your products on that way. Okay, new guidance for the UK. It's about how to report adverse events for software. So there are a lot of software as medical devices, SAMD, that are existing now. So now the point is how to report. What to report first. What are the things to report when you have an issue with the software, like misdiagnosis of your software, so your software is not re-diagnosing the right things, delay of diagnosis, delay of treatment, inappropriate treatment, absence of treatment, or transfusion of inappropriate materials. So you have a lot of cases that are discussed on this guidance on when your device, which is maybe a device that is trying to diagnose or to treat a patient, a software that is doing that. So when it's not following really correctly the intended purpose, when should you start to report incident? Because yes, when a medical device is not performing correctly, when a medical device is failing on doing something, you have normally to verify if this is something that should be reported to your authority. And here is specifically for software as medical devices. So if you are a software manufacturer, I really advise you to look at that and maybe also update your procedures in terms of reporting, to just mention exactly what are the cases or some examples of when you should report to the authorities. Okay, now some newsletters to read. So you have the MLV newsletters, which is for MedTech leading voices. This is a newsletter that is issued every week, where we talk really about anything that is happening within the medical device field for quality, regulatory affairs, etc. This week there was the one about how to bring medical devices to the market in the UK, with Matt Burton featured on the MLV newsletter. So don't hesitate to go to this newsletter, to subscribe on LinkedIn. There are a lot of information, a lot of things that can be interesting. Something maybe are not interesting for you, but just being there, you will see what is happening also on the field. And the second one is about, I mean, it's not a newsletter, it's more a blog, but it's Eric Volbrecht with Medical Devices Legal. So medicaldeviceslegwal.com. And you have all the news about what's happening within the medical device regulations, latest about this extension that we discussed and when it will be applied. So this is something that is really interesting. And when you read that, you will see that, yeah, it's not, it's sometimes with a lot of humor. So it's really an interesting read if you have never done that. So everything is on the show notes. Don't hesitate to go and to subscribe or to follow those blogs. Okay, now in the rest of the world, we have Australia that is issuing guidance on applying the advertising code rules. So mainly when you are advertising your medical devices, you have to follow some rules. And this is really a great document. I suppose if you read it carefully, all what is mentioned then can be also applied to Europe. I don't think we have this kind of documents for Europe because each country has its own law. But MDR or the Commission maybe could have issued the same kind of document, would be really great. Because if it's talking about a lot of cases here, for example, misleading by making some inaccurate and false claims, or representing a product as safe or miraculous when it's not, or using languages that could cause fear and distress, so to make people buy the product, etc. So this is really a great review that can be done. And really, I think for me, if you take that and you use that for Europe, it's really applicable also. So I think you are then using some good practices for advertising of medical devices. But this is mainly for Australia. I hope Europe will maybe look at that and think of creating an MDCG guidance for it also. Next one is Canada. We have a consultation open until June 29th for the change of the regulation in Canada, for the medical device regulation in Canada. So there are some updates of definition, like the definition of recall. They should establish a regulatory framework also for recall. There are a lot of elements that are mentioned there, and they are asking your opinion. I mean, the opinion of the people that are using that legislation until June 29th. So don't hesitate to go to the show notes, check those requirements. If you are selling your products to Canada, then maybe it's good to go and to give your opinion on that. And maybe some things will be really changing your way of working, so it's important to know about that also in advance. India, they are issuing a list of all the laboratories that can do a performance evaluation for your in vitro diagnostic device. So this is a list of all those laboratories. We have made last time, I don't know, maybe last time also, a list of all the notified bodies that can be used in India, etc. So there are all those lists that are available. Europe also is doing the same thing with EURL, European laboratories that can be also doing those performance evaluation. So here it is the same done for India. So if you are planning to register your devices in India and it's an in vitro diagnostic, maybe you will need to go through those laboratories to prove that your device is performant. Egypt, they listen or they heard about the EU MDR extension, and now they are helping the companies that are trying to register their products to Egypt to know how to handle the fact that their certificate may be expired already. So they heard about what's happening in Europe, and they said that for them, the companies need to issue letters, like letters issued by a legal manufacturer, letter issued by a notified body, or letter issued by competent authority. I'm not sure if they want one of those or the three of them. It was not clear because it was in Arabic and I translated that. But yeah, third party, as we talked about the AMPS in Spain, third-party countries can require you to prove that you are benefiting from this extension of the EU MDR. So it's really important for you to have a way to do that. You can do a self-declaration if you want. Maybe they will not accept that. Then they want maybe to receive something official, like from the EAMPS, or you can also ask your notified body with a letter of confirmation, and they can issue that to you. So normally this should be fine, but it will take some time, so don't wait the last minute to do that. Do it now and try to require this document as soon as possible. Saudi Arabia now, so as usual, as last month also, they are issuing a lot of webinars. There are a lot of documents also that are issued from Saudi Arabia authority, but they are in Arabic and it's a bit difficult for me to translate and to then give you the information. But here there are also the webinars. This month the webinars are about to explain the essential principle of safety and performance for medical devices. That will be happening on June 19th, 2023. And the second one is about risk management for medical devices, ISO 14971 requirements, so which will be in June 12th, 2023. So don't hesitate to go when it's in Arabic time or it's in Saudi time. So I'm not sure exactly where you are in the world, but it's the Middle East time. Then as soon as the time comes, you can go, and at the bottom of the image there is a click here, and you click here and then it opens the webinar. Okay, now podcast nostalgia. So which podcast happened this month or last month? So first, the podcast 231, the truth about the UK and versus Europe situation with Claire Dyson. So we talked about UK situation with the timeline, where some extension. There are still some confusion because on all the documents that UK is issuing, they are saying, oh, the new timeline, the timeline is the 30th of June 2023. And after that you have to be UKCA, but there is a future implementation, etc. But I mean, we are less than 1 month now, so I hope they will implement soon. There are changes because they have issued new dates, but they are still not implemented within the UK MHA website. But yeah, we'll have all the information with Claire Dyson on this podcast. Next one is about technical files inconsistency with Adam Ray. So we discussed about what are the different issues that notified bodies are identifying within the technical files. So it's also a good document for you to understand major errors that are always happening, so that you are not doing them also. Next one is about what if your medical device goes bankrupt with the current DBADWAL. So as I've said, black on white on the EU MDR, it says that if your company goes bankrupt, you have still some responsibility. So here we are discussing about that with the current DBADWAL. And last one is how to master regulatory intelligence with Ivan Perez Chamorro from Medboard, who is the sponsor of this video. So mainly we are discussing about how you have to make it that you are always up to date within your medical device knowledge, because you need this information for implementing the rules to your company, for also your management review, for always staying up to date, for strategizing also what you have to do in the future, like the extension of the EU MDR or like the extension of the UK. So if you know about that, you are in advance maybe to your competitors, and then you can plan accordingly and put the right budget at the right moment. So yeah, we'll discuss about that. So don't hesitate also to go to podcast.easymedicaldevice.com to see all the different podcasts that we had within the platform, and also on the YouTube channel we have also all the videos directly that you can see when you are seeing us. Okay, so Easy Medical Device is here to help you. So if you have any need for any service or any activity, don't hesitate to contact us at info@easymedicaldevice.com for consulting, for training, for authorized representative in UK, Europe, Switzerland, also for importer. Don't hesitate to contact us. If you also need an electronic quality management system, we are having Smart Eye that we are proposing, and we are also helping you to implement it directly with all the procedures and everything. So you can also contact us and we help you for that. We are doing that in collaboration with the company S-Cube Technologies, which is the one that is editing and creating this software. So don't hesitate to contact us at info@easymedicaldevice.com when you need anything about consulting, authorized representative, training, or EQMS implementation. We are really here to help you on that. So thank you for that. Okay, it was a pleasure for me to provide you this episode of the podcast. So thank you very much. I really hope this is really helping you and helping you to stay up to date. Don't hesitate to go to the show notes. We have placed all the links of what we have discussed today. And if you have any question, info@easymedicaldevice.com. info@easymedicaldevice.com. Okay, I wish you a nice day now.